I request you all to please switch off your mobiles. The academic procession will start with the procession song. I request you now to stand up, and the procession is about to start. Please be seated. Please be seated. At IIIT-Delhi, we have decided to have an invocation selected by the chief guest. Please listen to the beautiful prayer song and reflect on it.
तू Thank you very much for singing this beautifully, and thank you, Mr. Munjal, for selecting such an inspiring song, which clearly, as you can see, everyone has enjoyed. We will start the proceedings now. Mr. Chairman, sir, I now request you to declare the convocation open. I declare the convocation open.
I request the Director to present his report.
Respected Chief Guest, Shri Sunil Munjal, our beloved Chairman, Shri Kiran Karnik, my faculty and administration colleagues, my dear graduates who are now our alumni, their parents who are sitting on the floor above, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure and honor for me to deliver my third convocation address to this young institute, which I think is turning 6 just in a few days from now. We are proud to confer in this convocation 87 BTech degrees, 79 MTech degrees, and 2 PhD degrees, our very first. As is customary, let me start with some highlights of the previous year. With this year's admission, our student strength has crossed 1,000. We continue to attract high-quality faculty, which is undoubtedly the single biggest challenge for academia in India today. All our faculty strength has crossed 40. All our faculty members have PhDs from fine institutions from US, Europe, and India, and Asia. Research remains a key focus of the institute. Our faculty members and students have published over 110 papers in international conferences as journals. This year, some of the papers have received the Best Paper and Poster awards. Many of our PhD students have been selected for prestigious research fellowships like the Prime Minister's Fellowship, IBM Fellowship, and TCS Fellowships. I believe we may be one of the largest recipients of the TCS Fellowship program. 4 of our young faculty members are the proud recipient of the DST's Inspire program, while another one has been honored with Adobe's Excellence in Research Award. This year, 17 research proposals from our faculty were approved for funding by various government and other agencies for a total commitment of about over 3 crore rupees. In our R&D efforts, we remain committed to developing technologies that can be transferred for commercial exploitation or use by other organizations. This year, over 24 tools and technologies were transferred to over 10 organizations. And actually, 3 startups by our faculty and students have also emerged. Our first again, one in the area of energy management, one in education, and one in social networking. This year we achieved a major milestone. We awarded our first 2 PhDs to Kuldeep and Himanshu Bhatt, thus graduating in students in all 3 higher education degrees, bachelor's, master's, and doctorate in a short span of 6 years. Both received good reviews for their thesis from the examiners, who include some international experts as per our policies of PhD thesis examination. During the PhD, Kuldeep was awarded the prestigious Microsoft Fellowship Award, which is given to only 5 or 6 students a year, and Himanshu received the coveted IBM Fellowship Award. Both are now working at Xerox Research. To consolidate our research and make stronger impact in targeted areas, our vision is to start research centers in focus areas. This year, we took our first step and created our first Center of Excellence in Cybersecurity, CERC, which was inaugurated in January by Dr. Gulshan Rai, the Director General of CERT-IN. It already is one of the leading centers in India in this very critical area. While our faculty members collaborate with colleagues across the world, and there is many collaborations I know my colleagues are doing, we've also initiated some formal collaborations, international collaborations. We've started a joint PhD program with Australia's Queensland University of Technology, QUT, have signed an MOU with University of Nebraska Lincoln to facilitate academic collaboration between the faculties, and have also signed a pact with Graduate School of Information Security, Korea University, Seoul, for joint projects, joint supervision of doctoral students, and organizing events. The phase 1 of our permanent campus, which we see all around us, which became operational in August 2012, has over 30,000 square meters of space, sufficient for just about the capacity today, about 1,000 plus students and about 50 faculty members. The proposal for phase 2 of construction has been approved by the Delhi government, which will add another 60,000 square meters of space to cater to about 2,500 students and 150 faculty. We have all things in place except the permissions which we are trying to get from MCD to start construction. We continue to focus on effective resource utilization and have installed smart meters throughout the campus which actually show us our energy consumption on a real-time basis in a dashboard. Other measures have also been taken for efficient use of energy and water resources. After the successful placement of the first two batches, the just graduated batches, namely you, continued the tradition of strong performance in placement. By most measures of placement, highest domestic salary offered, the highest overseas package offered, the percentage of students placed, the mean and the median offers, we compare favorably with the top institutions in the country. Almost 10% of the graduating BTech batch got fellowships for higher studies in top institutions across the world. Very, very fine record by all metrics that you can use. Overall, we've had a very good year, and we are well on our path of becoming a globally respected institute, which is a stated mission and vision for us. Though many challenges remain, we are confident of addressing them in the coming years by support of students like you. We continue getting very strong support from students like you. Faculty, what we already have, we hope to get more, continue getting strong support from faculty. Administration colleagues, some of them are sitting here, excellent support from administration. Board, Mr. Karnik is here and one board member here. We continue getting very strong support and other well-wishers. So I hope you will see more and more laurels, more and more things that we will do. I would now like to spend a few minutes talking with you, our dear graduates who we are truly proud of. One can't not use this opportunity to share some thoughts with you. Developing graduates, fine graduates like you is one of the fundamental reasons of existence of institutes like ours. Our faculty spend a considerable time of their effort in trying to impart good education. We collectively spend a lot of mind share in trying to ensure that you have a comfortable life administratively as well as an academically challenging environment where you can learn and grow. But you're now entering a professional world. It's far more unforgiving and demanding than I believe you experienced while you were here. So let me share with you some thoughts on opportunities and challenges ahead of you and what you may do to tap the opportunities and face the challenges that you'll see. Given the pace of change in today's world, many of you will actually end up having multiple careers in your life. You may start as an engineer, as many of you are starting. After a few years, might feel the need to go deeper and explore the unexplored and take up PhD and a research career. During your research, you may realize that you have some wonderful ideas that can create value and may take an entrepreneurship path. In fact, many of our faculty have already traveled, even of our generation have traveled this path. We have a faculty member who spent a number of years as an engineer, went to PhD and started and is an academic now. We have another colleague who's graduated engineer, entrepreneur, PhD and a faculty now. We have another one we have at least two who are doing their entrepreneurship activities while we're going. So it's likely that your life will be a series of careers, not like what my parents' generation had, one career. Even in the professional career where you have a job, the nature of job will change. And if you want exciting jobs which will pay you handsomely, which all of you do, you will have to generate value. And the skills and capabilities that are valuable today may not be valuable in the world tomorrow. So while your mastery today in whatever you have, whatever skills you have given you the opportunities today, have opened doors for you, you may need mastery in another area to remain continually valuable to the organization you belong to. This is what is called in serial mastery in the book, The Shift, which talks about how the professions are changing or how they are likely to change. So all this possibility of changes of jobs and careers makes for a very, very exciting future for you, but one which is full of uncertainty. I believe a key question you must reflect upon is how to succeed in this scenario. It should be clear that your chances to succeed in this changing world will depend on your ability to redefine yourself periodically. So just like you are ready for the first job from the definition you got by the education we provided, you are ready or better prepared for the next job by the redefinition you will give yourself. And this will require ability to learn and grow. That's the only way to redefine yourself. In fact, that's the way you defined yourself. That's the only way to redefine also. You build more skills, you build new capabilities, new knowledge base. You refine your meta skills based on experience, and then you are ready for your next job or the next challenge that you have. I hope in our education, we have provided you not just your skills for the first job, but also prepared you for the meta skills needed to learn from your first N jobs for the N plus first job. The ability to leverage from the N jobs for your N plus first requires actually a mindset of not just merely doing a job for earning, but treating each job as an opportunity to learn, to grow, to refine your skills, and to redefine yourself. It requires initiative and drive. By initiative, I mean going beyond what your job requires, do the things that are not asked of you, etc. It is initiative that will allow you to explore, find new areas, new avenues that you didn't know about, and it will help you in tapping those opportunities that exist. I often, sometimes simplistically view the world in my mind as people, those people with initiative and those who don't. And I am a strong believer that it is people who, with initiative, who come out ahead in life. It is these people I would trust with work. It is these people I would trust, I would put my bet on. Now, initiatives come naturally if you are engaged deeply in whatever you do and enjoy it. If you have passion, which is demonstrated by a relentless pursuit for growth in the area in which you claim to have passion about, and not just mere declaration or statements, then pursue your passion with great gusto. You're lucky. But for most of you, I suspect, there may not be any passion today. Then for your own good, do not wait for some dream to come, for God's message to come, some vision to clarify your passion for you. Start working with full engagement and interest in whatever journey you've undertaken. In your long journey, you will travel many roads. Just travel every one with full engagement, commitment, and enthusiasm. This is not only important for your growth and learning, it may actually lead you to find the passion that you may be looking for. So this is my first message or advice. Do whatever you're doing with engagement, enthusiasm, commitment, initiative, and drive, and enjoy it. This brings me to the second point I would like to submit to you, and I have only 2 points. It is a fundamental law that change requires effort. In the physical world, we know all the physical laws about it, as well as in the mental and personal world. Many people take pride in following the least effort approach to life. You must realize that you cannot learn or grow with this approach. All learning and growth takes effort, make no mistake about it. Even the genius does not succeed without effort. Some of you may have read interviews by the Field Prize winner Manjul Bhargav. Talent is needed, he says, but is no substitute for hard work. So when it comes to learning, growth, and mastery, it is only trekking the steep slope that will take you higher. A easy stroll on a flat path is not going to take you higher. And if you follow my first suggestion that I mentioned, you may not find hard work as hard at all. In fact, you may not find it as work at all. So no doubt there are factors like luck, chance, meetings, etc. that influence the outcomes. Nobody can deny that. But I'm a strong believer of the quotes, luck favors the prepared mind. or the one by Jefferson. I'm a great believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the more I have of it. There's no doubt factors that you have no control over will influence what you end up doing. And it is very easy to blame your luck, the system, your boss, politics, India, etc., for what you cannot achieve. It's very easy to do that. It's much harder to take responsibility. I think the smarter way to live your life is not to ignore these factors, be cognizant of them, recognize all the factors that influence them, but focus on one factor, on the factor that you have full control over and which is undoubtedly the largest determinant of the outcomes you will generate. You and your effort. That's what you need to focus on, because that's the only thing you have control over. So, dear alumni, your exciting journey has already begun. I'm sure many of you are already working. In this journey, never forget that IIIT-Delhi contributed significantly and contribute back to the institute, to your alma mater, as and when possible. I believe that every alumnus should contribute at least 1% of his or her annual income back to the institute, and to be with you in this act of saying thank you to the institute, I remain committed to contributing 1 month of my salary every year to the institute, as I announced in my first convocation. I continue to do so, and I hope I may even increase it in years to come, and I hope you will join me in giving back to our institute regularly. I'm happy to announce launching of our alumni website, where we will soon have other information about how you can contribute back. So, dear graduates, take the road less traveled, take the harder road. Enjoy the journey and make the journey count to yourself, to your family and friends, to the society, and to the institute. You have an exciting future ahead of you. Go ahead and make the most of it. But remember your alma mater every time you reach a new height. Remember that we had something to contribute to you reaching that height. My best wishes to you for the fine future I hope lies ahead of all of you. Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, sir, I request you to deliver your address and introduce the chief guest. This on?
Okay. Chief guest, Mr. Munjal, our director, Professor Jalote, members of the Governing Council, General Council, members of the Board of Governors, Senate, faculty, administration, students, graduating students, parents, invited guests, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here at our third convocation. We continue to say we are a young institute. I guess as far as institutions go, where you count not in years, but in decades, sometimes in generations, we are young. But we are now 5+, and I think we are at the stage where in terms of how we look at education, we have moved from the early stages into the regular school, you might say, as you get into a regular school at age 5 or 5+. And so we have, in some sense, in a very small way, beginning to come of age. You can see that by the fact, and this is a special pleasure and a delight, that we are awarding our first 2 PhDs. This is, I think, an exceptional achievement for an institution so young, but it's also reflective of what we have tried to do. As we've always said, this is a research-based educational institution, a research-based teaching institution. And I think nothing signifies more than the fact that we've emphasized research, emphasized our doctoral and master's programs, which have been of tremendous benefit to the bachelor's program. As the graduating students to whom I address most of my remarks today know, we have here an extraordinary and exceptional faculty. We've been blessed with getting people here who come from around the world with experience, knowledge, connections, networks from different universities, different institutions. And we are even happier to have a director who's been able to lead this institution so well in the few years that we are here. I do also want to acknowledge the role of the Delhi government. Today we don't have a representative from there in a formal sense, but they played a truly exceptional role. It's rare, especially in today's world and in India, to see a government which gives us the kind of autonomy, the liberty, the freedom that the Delhi government has allowed this institution. And I think I do want to, on behalf of what I would say probably is all of us from the institution, say a word of thanks to Delhi government for allowing us to function freely and to function with autonomy and freedom. This is a board-run institution. It has truly been so. I must also say with some degree of pride that we have more than justified the confidence and freedom that they've given us. We have repaid that in ample measure by what we have achieved, and I know that many in the Delhi government are proud of this institution for what it's done. So I think there is a mutuality there. There is also a learning there for the government in many states and the center about how institutions need the freedom and autonomy to do what they do best through their processes, to let them try, succeed, experiment, sometimes fail, but come up with something good. And that's something that really in the long run pays off. A few words to the graduating students. I think from my perspective, the kind of advice that the director has given you has been truly exceptional. I hope you heard it carefully and digested it. This is something which you will carry back with you and think about many years in the future. I think it's extremely important. I just want to add a few words to what he said. You're stepping out into a world that's very different. And the way I look at it in terms of the dramatic difference is the world I grew up in and the world you're growing up in. A whole host of differences which I will not address. But one exceptional difference is the climate within the country, signified by many, many, many changes. But one change is certainly one where you begin to see actual things happening on the ground, and that's the change in terms of entrepreneurship. So many graduating students, so many students who have not even graduated are beginning to start up enterprises. And the kind of climate that permits this, allows this, nurtures it, has changed from what it was in earlier days. And therefore it's a matter of some pride that today when we see the space around us in the entrepreneurial area, you see startups from India. We used to read about this many years back about the kind of startups in countries abroad. And today in India, you see the startups which are billion-dollar valuations. And very interestingly, a majority of these startups, I would say an overwhelming majority of them, have been started by technologists. They're not by people who come from necessarily a business background. They're people who come with ideas. They're people who come with technology. They're people who come with innovative thoughts. They come with knowledge. They put together a team and they take off. And we know many of these successes. Some have been, in the newspapers in terms of the big news that they have made, whether it's Flipkart or Snapdeal, or in completely different areas, whether it's a new airline like Indigo, whether it's something in a field which is again related but different, where you see a whole host of internet, mobile startups which have created great value and have got around the world. Or in data analytics, a place like Mu Sigma, which all of you know about too. I think this is one dramatic change and something which some of you might want to mull over. Not all of us have it in our blood to go out and do an entrepreneurial startup. Not all of us are necessarily interested. But I'm sure that many of you have thought about it. And I would say it's a great time to do something, to go out and try to do what you want to do now, or maybe after a few years of experience of working in the real world, of working out in industry and finding out what it's there. But the opportunities are there, and the opportunities are no longer just outside the country, they're in the country. For those of you who are more inclined to a career in research, it's I think, a sign of the times that so much of your batch has got great fellowships to go abroad and continue your work and continue research. It's also a sign of the times that both of graduating PhDs have got excellent jobs in research facilities. And I'm very happy about that, because that's what they did here. And they're going to continue to do it in industry, but in the research area. I think this is another path which is opened up for many of you, which didn't exist in my times. Neither entrepreneurship nor this kind of possibility existed, which is there. The third one, which is a continuation from earlier days, is for those of you who want to take a somewhat more conventional career path and get to regular jobs. The scenario has changed there too. The kind of opportunities that you have changed. The kind of jobs that you can take up have changed. The kind of growth and career prospects have changed dramatically. And there, much of what Pankaj mentioned to you in terms of hard work, doing the work which you enjoy, has special resonance and special kinds of thoughts which you might want to take with you. The important thing there, and the big difference I would say from much earlier times, is please understand that what you would call the half-life of knowledge has decreased drastically. What you learnt in your times here, in the 4 years, or the additional 2 years of your masters, or even those who have done a PhD, is not going to last you very long. The sell-by date of the knowledge you picked up here is going to be very soon. And therefore it's critical that you continue to renew your knowledge, to continue to learn, to build from the experience and abstract from that into the knowledge that you can carry forth elsewhere. This is critical, because if you stay where you are, if you stay only with the knowledge you have, in a few years from now, whether it's 3 years, 5 years or 10 years, you can find yourself unemployed. It's not just knowledge, it's professions that are changing. And I mentioned earlier times, in earlier times we had professions which people don't even recognize today. And a profession like a typist is almost dead today. People do their own work on the computer. And as all of you would recognize, probably in a few years from now, there'll be no profession called a driver, because you have driverless cars. That may take 10 years, 20 years, but it's indicative of how not just those skills, but as you move up the skill ladder, certain professions are going to disappear. As all of us know, coding is getting more and more automated, and without a doubt, in a few years from now, the whole idea of somebody who can just write code is not going to have a job any longer. So keep in mind that the changing world offers you phenomenal opportunities, but it also has huge challenges. And one of those challenges is, how do you keep up with knowledge? How do you keep up with the changing world? How do you keep up with professions that are dying altogether? And how do you make sure that the new opportunities that are being opened, the new professions that are opening up, the new possibilities that are coming, you can capitalize on them? This requires a lot of things, and I don't want to go through them. Pankaj mentioned initiative. He mentioned something which is very important. Enjoy what you're doing, because only then can you excel. And if you don't excel, it doesn't matter what you're doing. And I hope none of you, but maybe some of you will want to go and become a chef somewhere, start cooking. And you can earn fame, money, name, whatever you want, even in that profession today, but provided you excel. So it just doesn't matter what you want to do. Become a cricketer, become a tennis player, become a chef, become a fashion designer, and of course, hopefully, become an inventor, become somebody who starts a company. Whatever you do, but unless you excel, you will not be there. You see that even in the corporate world, new startups, if you're not among the top 3 or 4, you don't have much hope. So I think excelling is important. Initiative is important, which he mentioned. Apart from initiative, one more I is extremely important, and that's innovation. In today's world, doing what you do efficiently and well is extremely important and is rewarded. But efficiency gets you only so far. If you want to go beyond that, to move to the next orbit, you've got to innovate. You've got to think differently. And this requires a mindset that's not only all the time thinking differently, but is trying to make connections between different dots. And this comes back to what I said about knowledge and its change. So it's not just upgrading your knowledge, it's in some ways also broadening your knowledge base. Even as you go into greater depth, breadth should not be lost altogether. Because it's only when you bring in analogies, connections, thoughts from one discipline into the other that you can sometimes innovate. The most brilliant innovations come from an analogy that comes from a completely different discipline, somewhere else altogether. And you bring it to your discipline and say, suddenly it's wonderful and you've got a solution for a problem that you were long stuck with. So innovation is something which you might want to keep in mind as you go further and look at what you want to do. It's also a word, which is very exciting in a different way. It's a word in which the ethos is changing. And today, one of those things which sometimes many of us from my generation worry about, I think it's an unfair worry in terms of whom you tend to implicitly blame, but it's a worry all the same. Have we got too materialistic? Is our single yardstick of saying how well a person is doing, is that yardstick just how much that person earns? Yes, of course it's important, And of course, most if not all of you would want to earn well and live a good life. But that can't be your sole yardstick. There have to be other things that go along with that. There have to be, even if you make all the money you can, what do you do with it? And I think we have brilliant examples from around the world, including many in this country, where people who have made it big and made it good have seen that they give back to society, that they care for others and they're compassionate. And I want to summarize this thought in one drastic change from the time I grew up in the world you're going into. And I would put it in an analogy which is somewhat strange, but something which you might see and hopefully resonates in your mind afterwards. You know, when I was growing up, it was a world of atoms. It was a world of things. And in that world, if I give you something that I have, I lose it. It's in some ways, as you would say in mathematical terms, a zero-sum game. Because I have an object, I have something which is physical, it's the atomic world, and if I give it to you, I no longer have it with me. But you're growing up in a world of bits and bytes. And in this world, what you give doesn't go away. If you have some knowledge which is encoded software and you give it to somebody, it doesn't go away, it's yet with you also. It's a world of sharing without losing. And I think you've got to build this somewhere into your mindset as you look at the world as a whole in vast dimensions, not just in this dimension. That you're in a world where giving to others doesn't deprive you. In fact, it may well enrich you. And I think that change in mindset is something which you might want to keep in mind, not just in what you do in the world of IT, but in a much broader world of the community you live in, the people you live with, and where you are and where they are, and what can you do for others, where you give and yet gain. It's not a give and lose, it's a give and gain. I think that's a thought which I want to leave with you as you step out into the world. Finally, just a few words. I want to reiterate what Pankaj said so eloquently, that keep in mind when you go out of here that you yet belong to this institution. You spend many years here. We treat you as family, and please look at this as your home away from home. Come back here, enrich yourself, interact with the faculty, maybe come back as faculty someday, but continue to see how you connect to the institution. Part of that connection must be also how you come back and contribute to the institution in cash, in kind, in many ways. Just bring in your knowledge, bring in your ideas, bring in what you can. But this connection should stay. Also keep in mind something which I like to reiterate to young people as they go out, that as you graduate out of here with pride and happiness, give a spare thought for those who made all this possible. Your parents and guardians, many of whom are sitting upstairs as you graduate from here, and their contribution. I think it's important that you think of that and not forget that as you go forward. Finally, the very best to all of you as you step into a new world. I hope you do well in whatever you want to do. I'm sure you will succeed, and I'm very sure that you will do very well and bring pride both to yourself, your family, and this institution. Wishing you all the very best and great fulfillment in all that you do. Thank you. It's my pleasure to now very briefly introduce our chief guest. I'll do that in just a couple of sentences. Mr. Sunil Munjal. All of you know of him, so as I said, no introduction is required. He's the managing director of Hero Motocorp, a legendary company in India and now around the world. It's exceptional in terms of what it has done. It has flown the Indian flag in many, many countries and built in completely exceptional standards of excellence. For many, many, many years, I used to give the example of this company and this group as to what India can do when people talked of China and their efficiency, their infrastructure, their capability to produce something. And I said, here's one company that actually outcompetes them in many areas. It started with cycles, and they do many other things. Mr. Munjal has been the driver of this, not just in terms of the business part of it, but in terms of how the company moves forward, what it innovates, and how it does things. In a brief interaction with the faculty, he was just mentioning something exceptional, and I know just one other Indian company that does something like that, and something which some of you might carry with you, and I want to mention this both to students and as an introduction to Mr. Munjal. He's the one who pioneered this concept of not only awarding those who come up with great innovations within their company, the great innovators who come with great thoughts, but also to equally recognize at an equal level those who tried something exceptional and failed. Because it's important to try big with a good thought. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work, you gain a lot of experience. He was sharing this thought with us, which I think is very, very important. Mr. Munjal, apart from his corporate hat, where, as I said, he's been exceptionally successful, and most of you would have read and heard about it. I just want to add one more line, that it seems to me, though he may or may not admit it, that today his heart is much more in a different area. He spends much more of his mind share, if not his time, in a different area, and that is education. Every time I've talked to him and I begin to talk about business, in about a minute or two the conversation veers around to what the education scene is, the university that he's founded and is helping to set up, and the broader area of education in India. So I'm very sure that he's going to be one of the major players and contributors in education too. Given that background and the tremendous success he's had in whatever he's done, it's indeed an exceptional honor and pleasure today to have you, Mr. Munjal, with us. And it's my pleasure now to invite Mr. Munjal as our chief guest to address us this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Kiran. Mr. Kiran Karnik, Chairman, Professor Pankaj Jalote, faculty, members of the Board and Governing Council, parents of the graduating class, guests, administrators of IIIT, and the most important part of the audience today, the students, some who are here in this hall, and I presume some who are not in the hall today. A graduation day is always a special day for any institution, and more importantly, for those who actually graduate today. This is a transition that we all make in our lives. In some sense, it's a day like any other day. At the same time, it's a day which changes your lives almost completely. And part of it is because of what Kiran just said, that you will go into what is often called the real world from a somewhat protected environment of an educational institution. Driving in here was quite interesting. I actually did not know where the location of the IIIT was. And this is like an island. It's like a green island in the middle of this crowded place. And I was absolutely delighted to have the conversation before walking in here. It's not just a green island, it's also an island of excellence that is being built in an area which is of extreme interest today to all of us as people, as society, as a nation, and for the world. You all exposed yourselves extensively to engineering and to technology. And we all live in a world which is dramatically changed the way technology is adopted, become part of our lives, and in some ways almost drives our lives. It's technology that allowed us to live much longer. It increased the population of this planet by giving you better healthcare, better medication, longer lives, ability to exercise with equipment. And now it's a larger population on the planet which now demands more of technology. There is a need for us to both learn to use and harness this technology well. At the same time, a word of caution that it will change our lives absolutely beyond our imagination. I'd actually brought a note with me which talked of technology and stuff, but when I'm sitting here, I'm saying I'm talking to people who actually know much more than I do. So what can I tell you about technology? So I'm going to change a little bit of what I have to say, and Pankaj stole half my speech in all the comments he made. So, so I have to think up some new stuff to say to you. It's not new for us. We're an 8,000-year-old civilization. We'd actually taught the world about technology. We also taught the world about trade and commerce. If you think back, where did drainage, water supply system, water storage system, where did they come from? They actually came from India. The world's first university, the world's first multidisciplinary university, and the world's first liberal art university, all were in India. The world's first university which attracted peoples of different nations to work together was also here in India. And I don't need to go through the list because I'm sure you're all aware of whether it's the zero or the pi or even the button, by the way. These are all invented, designed, or discovered in India. And there are a whole host of others. The game of chess, although there's a competition, there are two other nations say that they actually discovered chess before we did, but I guess that's debatable. We've had a great history of discoveries, of intellect, of people questioning status quo. And I think that's a wonderful quality to have. Kiran just talked of the new university that we have just started. Actually, it's only 2 weeks old today. We have said there are 3 things we want to encourage actively. And I would encourage each and every one of you to also think a little bit about this. One is to focus on innovation in all that you do in your lives. Everything. I don't mean only innovation and technology, but in everything that you do in your lives. Second is on impact that you will make on society. And I mean in a positive sense. And the third is a sense of inquiry. Question things. Can you help make things better for yourselves and for those around you? Can things be done quicker, better, cheaper, more efficiently, with less wastage, with more impact, more effectively? Or could we just completely change the rules of the game? And it's happening all the time around us, every single day. So I'll take a page from what Kiran was saying, that the new era of the digital age is actually only 50 years old. But what it's telling us is, the message is quite interesting. You know, there was an old saying that the only constant is change. Really, the only constant in life is change. But now it's not just change, it's also the pace of change that is changing. At a pace never imagined before. Who could have imagined 50 years ago the way we use communication and how it's changed social structure? It's not good or bad. Parents often complain, by the way, about the way kids behave socially now, or they interact with others around them. I don't think it's good or bad. It's just the new reality. And for all of us, and I'm talking the elder lot, who don't accept this, we will get rolled over. They're saying life is like a road roller. You're either sitting on the road roller or you get rolled over. And that's what's happening with technology. We need to be able to learn to harness and use technology for ourselves. Otherwise, there is another scenario building. And I would urge some of you to see this video. It's on YouTube. It's a 15-minute video. It says, humans need not apply. Anybody in this room seen this video? Just 1, 2. I would urge the rest of you who are qualified technologists to actually look at this video. It's almost saying humans are actually not required any longer to do almost any job, including the most complex or the ones we consider the most intellectual, including jobs of lawyers, accountants, doctors, technologists. Can be done by machines. We've made these machines. We've built into them, or attempted to build into them, the most complex machine known to man, which is the human brain. We've been trying, and this is for a long time, this is not today. Einstein was trying to do this, and many others around at that time. Leonardo da Vinci was trying to do this. Is to question our ability. Again, we are from a civilization or a nation where we've had sages, saints, wise people do things which people either called hocus pocus or magic, levitation, telekinesis, etc. are not new. But the reality is, this is not magic. The ability of an individual to harness and project your mind, it's only an electrical, it is an electrical circuit, and that's all it is. But we also know that we are actually using a very small potential of this most times. And as many of you would know, Einstein's brain was actually preserved, and it's available right now, even today. They've tested it, and it was one of the brightest minds the world has ever produced. And how much of that mind do you think was being used by him? It's 10 to 12%. Over time, these numbers have changed because of the way that we calculated it. One time they said most human beings use 1 to 2% of their potential. Now they're saying we use somewhere between 5 to 10%. But just imagine, if you could even just double what you do in terms of the capacity of the brain, it's still only be 10 to 20%. So we have an immense capacity and capability, very often not understood by us ourselves. The story of the bumblebee is well known. There is no way theory can show you that it can fly, but it does. It doesn't know it's not supposed to fly. We used to have this discussion in our company some years ago. We actually tried to keep our heads down and focus on our work. Only the businesses which have a compliance reason or a consumer at the end are the ones which get publicized, but most others we don't like to even talk about, much less publicize. But some of them have grown to become leading businesses in their own areas. Some of them are globally leading businesses. We had at one time, I think, 6 or 7 companies in the group which were amongst the number 1, 2, or 3 in the world. This is before we restructured the group. And we had a visitor one day. He's saying, how has this happened? How is Hero Cycles the largest company in the world? How has what was then Hero Honda become the largest company in the world? When you're addressing a market like India only and not addressing the world markets or a few other markets around you. And the reality was, frankly, we don't know. We were fortunate in the early days that the culture that got built in the organization said the most important asset that we have as an organization is people. It's the only asset which is appreciating. Every other asset is depreciating with time, whether it's buildings, machines, technologies. We build some of the best buildings actually. We have the world's largest green roof on one of our factories. Many of our factories don't look like factories. When you drive in, they look like your campus actually. They are green. We built a new factory which we opened last month in Neemrana. We turned the trusses upside down and used the trusses as a frame for solar panels. And under the solar panels, because there's still room, through hydroponics, we are growing food. We are growing plants and food which will be used in the cafeteria and the canteen inside. So let me just switch to another area. In 2004-05, some of us authored a report which said India can grow at a very rapid pace, and it should. But our biggest problem, our bottleneck, is going to be people. We almost got laughed at. We said, please read the entire line. It says, we will fall short of people with the right skills and the right attitude. Because we have not focused enough on people. We have not focused enough on education, vocations, and skills. And which is a shame, because we are, as I said, a nation which has taught the world how to do this. So over the last 250 years or so, we allowed ourselves to slip. At the end of the Mughal period, when the British came into India, India as a single nation was doing 21% world trade. One nation. Great Britain, as it was then called, had 1% world trade. In 1947, Great Britain left India with 21% world trade. What do you think was left behind? 1%. So it was actually an economic subjugation which happened. And we allowed this to happen. And then, strangely, we adopted the same system where the government, a small minority government, was trying to run a large nation which was primarily against them. So our rules laws, regulations are based on mistrust, that the average citizen will do the wrong thing. And that change, I think, is long overdue to be made. We have to trust Indians to do the right thing. And by the way, they will. If you look at what Indians have done worldwide, now I'm talking of the recent past, in the last 50 years, what Indians have done across the globe, in the US, in Europe, even in Far East, in the Middle East, doctors, lawyers, accountants, technologists, scientists, pretty much any profession that you look at. There was a time when 3 major global banks had Indian CEOs. There was a time when 3 major telecom companies had Indian CEOs. 3 of the major airlines had Indian CEOs at one time. If we can do this when we go out, if you go to California, for example, a very large number of the startups that were being referred to earlier by both Pankaj and Kiran are actually Indians. So what happens to us here? Why are we not able to do this? I'm absolutely delighted to hear what you're doing here at the IIIT. I think that's the kind of change which you will make. Each one of you needs to be a seed which will make this change in yourselves and around you. Of course, it's important what profession you pick, because unless you pick something, your ability to drive your passion is limited. And as we just heard, your profession may change over time. It doesn't matter what it is. Please do it with a sense of joy, a sense of commitment. As they say, if you enjoy what you do, you don't have to work a day in your life. It's just a joy. Every day when you when you get up, you want to do more of it. And that's what's a joy in life. Sometimes people talk about others, this guy doesn't sleep, he's working too hard, he's working too long. Please ask them, does it seem like a punishment for those who are working 10, 14, 16, 18 hours a day? If it was, they wouldn't do it. It's obviously something they enjoy. And that's what moves the needle. That's what makes the big difference. I like that your leadership team is talking of startups, incubation. We would be delighted that all of you walk out of here with jobs. I would be even more delighted if a large number of you said, I don't want a job. I want to be able to give jobs, to create more jobs. As a nation, you need to create 1 million jobs month on month, every month for the next 10 years. Our biggest challenge, and we have to recognize that all of us in this room are completely blessed to be born in the families that we were born in, to get the kind of education and opportunities that we got. Because we come from a nation where 250 million people are not able to get 2 square meals a day. So there is a responsibility all of us have to make that change, which is the reason I'm urging you to think not just about jobs. Of course, it's good to get jobs. By the way, please don't misunderstand. I'm not running them down, because we need smart young professionals to drive Indian enterprise. But if you can be the one who creates jobs, you are the multiplier. We often talk of industries which create a large number of jobs, whether it's textiles, automotive, defense, tourism. There's a whole lot of industries, house construction, which create a massive amount of jobs. But who's the real multiplier? It is individuals who have the ability, the grit, the guts, the ability to take the risk and go out and set up these enterprises, push them to grow in spite of challenges that we will all face. So we are a nation of extreme diversity. We are also a nation of extreme dichotomies. If you look at the World Bank's report of ease of doing business, we are shamefully low. Yet, people want to come back to India, and this is a question I asked some of your faculty, because a large number of them have come back from overseas, because this is where the opportunity is. And the change in the environment, in the work culture, has actually to be made by us. We cannot be pointing fingers at the government in today's time. Who is the government? Who picks the government? Who makes the government do what it should? It's all of us. It is our responsibility as responsible citizens of the world We also need to recognize our responsibility is not just in your immediate neighborhood or in your society or in your nation. The way the world is getting connected, increasingly, it is a responsibility for all of us to be responsible citizens of the world as well. So I would urge all of you, no matter what you pick, please ensure that you do your work with a sense of responsibility and with a sense of ethics. There is a huge moral dilemma right now that ethics has almost become unfashionable. And that, I think, is a big, big problem. Whether it is corporate scandals or scandals in government or scandals amongst individuals, I think it's a shame that as a society, one, again, which talked of the value system, the Guru Shishya tradition came from India. And what was the reason? What was the system? Was not just to teach you about technology or soft skills or a language. It was to teach you life skills as well. And again, I was glad to hear from your director that you are focused on multiple life skills, sports and other activities as well. Because we would like our young people to come out as complete and balanced individuals. You are our future. I hope, by the way, some of you think about the future seriously, because you're going to spend most of your time there. So it is important, I think, for us now and then to think a little bit about this, but it's more important to not have to think about it all the time, to make this second nature, to make this your normal behavior, to question decision making. Am I doing the right thing? One of the things we did many, many years ago in our companies is, when any new manager is hired, any new individual is hired, as a part of the orientation, they are told these are the company's philosophies, value system, etc. You will have to make decisions all the time. And that's what life is about. You make decisions every single day. When you have to make a decision, we expect you to do two things. One is to remember that something which has to be done must be done, and something which does not need to be done must not be done. Don't waste time, energy, resources, money, etc. At the same time, when you have to make a decision, you don't need to ask anybody. You are free to make decisions, but make sure you're doing the legal thing. More important, make sure you're doing the right thing. Make sure what you're doing is ethical. Put your hand on your heart. And if you think it's the right decision, please go ahead and make it. And if it falls flat, if it goes wrong, we will support you. As an organization, because what is the organization? It's nothing but the people. As I said, it's not the fancy buildings or the fancy technology that gets used in these buildings. It is always and only the people. The performance or the result that Kiran referred to is not any one individual's. It is the net collective result of all of the people. And we have been very, very fortunate and blessed to get very good people within the organization and in the universe of the organization, as suppliers, as dealers, as distributors, as customers. We truly feel we are blessed. Because this is a business which was started from scratch by my father and his brothers. So in some sense, it's only one generation old. And we have thousands of people who are now working second or even third generation within the company, amongst our suppliers and amongst our dealers and distributors. It is their company. It is everybody's company who's involved with this. We don't think it's our property. We have a role to play. We have a role as trustees to ensure that you are protecting the reputation by doing the right thing, by making decisions which are forward-looking, which ensure the best interest of the entire community that it touches. So through our family foundation and some of the trusts, we have been focused on, and you're right, Kiran, we have been focused on education because our belief is that this is a responsibility. If some of us don't meet, is actually absolutely almost unfair. So we've been focused on school education, on college education, on vocational skills, on clean drinking water, and things of that nature. Our special focus has been skills and training for women, because we think that is what can be truly transformational for society. I was actually glad to see so many young women in the room. I remember when my daughter went to SRCC, they were then in those days building the hostel for girls. Yesterday at the board meeting, we were told there's a new hostel which needs to be built for the girls, because right now there are 60% students getting into SRCC are female students, because they are smarter. Actually, that is a smarter half of our population. They are so smart that they can let the men feel that they are smarter most of the time. And I mean it seriously, by the way, because they live much more complex, difficult lives than men. We have not harnessed that energy for many parts of the nation. And I'm not discounting what they do, by the way. Running homes, running families, bringing up children is absolutely the most important part that any society can do. But in addition to economic activity, to industrial activity, to scientific technological activities, they have a temper which allows them to do multiple things with great concentration, which men cannot. And I don't mean to generalize, because each one of us is individual. But broadly, if you see, and there are many research reports to show, by the way, that this is actually true. So I'm delighted when I see in more and more universities and colleges, more young women, more young ladies. In any case, they get better scores in schools. One thing I've not figured out is how can you get 94, 95, 97% in marks in any exam, but millions of our children are getting it. So clearly, the intelligence lies in there. Can you help to create a facilitating environment where all of you who have the opportunities and those who don't have the opportunities, all of them get and have the ability to be able to grow, to flower, to demonstrate their ability to make that big change. Make it for yourselves and make it for many around you. You are in probably one of the most leading edge areas of education. I would urge you to focus your energies on a few areas. Pankaj, how much time do I have? Some of our big issues, big problems, are also fantastic opportunities areas. Food, energy, water. These are inextricably linked. And I'm sometimes amazed we've not even made the linkage of this, certainly not yet in India. Not only have we not made the linkage yet, we've not even focused on energy, as a single overview of energy is not available in India because of the way our governance is structured. We have an oil ministry, we have a power ministry, we have a coal ministry, we have a ministry for alternate energy, and a whole host of others. So there is no single, and because these are fiefdoms, these work in silos, they're not able to work across. So that's one other recommendation and suggestion I have, both for the institution and for all of you, that it is multiple disciplines which will drive success. Very rarely is it single discipline which drives success. It may or may not be visible, but it is individuals who have the ability to think on their feet through different areas at the same time, which can actually drive more sustainable success. So I would urge you to focus your mind, your research, your thinking, your technology to areas like health. Healthcare is a serious issue today. How do we make education easier, cheaper, more available, higher quality of education, easier access to education? How do we focus on urbanization? Today we have 68 to 72% of India living in the rural areas. Within the next 15 years, this number is likely to come down to somewhere close to 50%. And by the way, we are talking of this percentage of 1.2 plus billion people. The population which is going to migrate is more than the population of the entire United States and Canada put together alone. It's almost the population of Europe. Please remember, this has never ever been done in the world before. Are we equipped for this is a question we need to ask ourselves. How do we create urbanization which meets the needs of the society of today as also of the society that we will see in the future? Can we create more economic activity in the rural areas to actually obviate some of this migration? Our agriculture is also in a very strange place right now, which needs massive attention. We are the second largest producers of vegetables in the world, second largest producers of fruits in the world, the largest producer of milk in the world, also of maize and sugar, sugarcane, cabbage, and a whole host of others. Our yield, interestingly, is the lowest in the world of any country with a large agri-production. Literally, it's the lowest in the world. Can we focus some management input, some technological input into our farming? We can dramatically change the lives of India, and I mean India, not just the farmers, if we can do that. And I can almost guarantee you 2x can be done in 3 to 5 years. 5x can be done in 10 to 15 years. If we focus our mind, some on rules, regulations, and some on technology and management practices. And that is what I'm talking about. Can we be transformative? Can we think big? Can we look at step changes? Of course, incremental changes are important. That's what you need for everyday lives. But to make the big change, how many of you are willing to put your neck out, to stick your neck out and say, I'm going to do this, which is risky, but I think I can make a big change here. I want to thank all of the parents and guardians who are sitting in the other room. I presume some of you are here, for making that effort and very often making sacrifices to put your children and your wards through this fantastic opportunity to expose them to the ability to learn. Just one last comment, and this is for the institution. I don't think the best institutions are those which teach you or give you the answers. I think the best institutions are those which will equip you with the tools to raise questions and ask the right questions to find the answers yourselves. There is no ready answer in life for anything. No one can give it to you. There is no professor, no matter how smart he or she is, that will be able to provide you all the answers of things you will face in life. You have to find the answers yourselves. As long as you're able to approach this in a balanced frame of mind, with a good sense of inquiry, you will find the answers. So to the parents, a very, very big thank you and congratulations to all of those who are graduating today, and congratulations to the award winners, and good luck to the institutions. All the very best.
Thank you, Mr. Munjal. Mr. Chairman, sir, may I request you to kindly present a memento to our chief guest on behalf of the Institute. Let the candidates of various degrees be presented. All the candidates, please rise. By virtue of the authority vested in me as the chairman of the Senate of the Indraprastha Institute of Information Technology, Delhi, I hereby admit the duly qualified candidates listed in the scroll of the respective degrees and charge them to prove worthy of the respective degrees.
Please be seated. I request Professor Ashwin Srinivasan to present the PhD students.
I present to you two candidates in person who have qualified in the year 2013-14 to receive the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Computer Science and Engineering. Their names are Mr. Kuldeep, thesis title, Geolocalization and Location-Aware Opportunistic Communication for Mobile Phones, supervised at the Institute by Dr. Vinayak Nayak, Pushpendra Singh, and Amarjit Singh. And Mr. Himanshu Sharad Bhatt, thesis title Emerging Covariates of Face Recognition, supervised at the Institute by Drs. Richa Singh and Mayank Vats.
Let the candidates for the award of medals be presented.
Chancellor's Gold Medal for the best academic record and highest CGPA of all the graduating students in the entire BTech program has been awarded to Abhishek Gupta. I request the chief guest to hand over the certificate and the chairman to give the medal to the student. Best BTech Project Award for the Best Bachelor of Technology Engineering Project has been given to Apurv Singh. Oh, sorry, Apurv Narang, sorry. That's not good. And for the Best Bachelor of Technology Entrepreneurship Project, it has been given to Aditya Kumar. Best MTech Thesis Award for the Best MTech Thesis in ECE has been given to Ankita Shukla.
Let the record of the degrees to be presented to the chairman for signature. Wait. Let the oath be administered all getting the degrees may please rise.
I hereby pledge that it shall be my constant endeavor to be scrupulously honest in the discharge of my duties as engineer and scientist, to uphold the dignity of the individual and the integrity of the profession, to utilize my knowledge of technology and science for the glory of the institute and in the services of the country and mankind at large. Thank you.
May we please be seated.
So session 1 ends here. So please rise for the national anthem. After the national anthem, the academic procession will depart and we will resume the degree granting ceremony after 15 minutes at 11:30.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा, तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे, गाहे तब जय गाथा, जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
So all the BTech students, they are requested to move to C11, or the guests sitting here in C01, they are requested to remain in their seats, okay? And the parents and the MTech students who are sitting in C11, they may now come down here to C01 here, to the convocation hall. Dr. Vikram Goel.
I present to you 9 candidates in person and 2 others in absentia who have duly qualified in the year 2013-14 to receive the degree of Master of Technology in Computer Science and Engineering with specialization in Data Engineering. Graduation requirements completed on May 21, 2014. Gajendra Ranjit Wagmare. Megha Mittal. Ritika Jain. Sudeep Gupta in absentia. Ayushi Gupta. Abhishek Bhola. Anuj Rajani, Gongain Ganesh Vijay, Krishan Kumar Arya, Pankaj Sahu, Shilpi Jain in absentia. Thank you.
Next, Dr. Vinayak Naik will present the students for mobile computing, MTech.
I present to you 12 candidates in person who have duly qualified in the year 2013-14 to receive the degree of Master of Technology in Computer Science and Engineering with specialization in mobile computing. Karishma Chugh, Akshi, Mirdila Singh, Nishtha Ahuja, Prateek Jassal, Stuti Jain, Tarun Gupta, Alvika Gautam, Amit, Milan Jain, Shailaja Thakur, Viru Sharma. Congratulations to the new graduates. Thanks.
We next have Dr. Sumitra Sanatya to present the students with specialization in information security.
I present to you 9 candidates in person and 5 others in absentia who have duly qualified in the year 2013-14 to receive the degree of Master of Technology in Computer Science and Engineering with specialization in information security. Akarsha Agrawal, Akarsha, turn that side. Adarsh Agrawal, Himanshu Gupta, in absentia, Narayan Reddy, Neha Gupta in absentia, Nikita Jain, Nisha Agrawal, Nishant Sharma, Pratik Sharma in absentia, Rashi Garg in absentia, Sandeepan Biswas, Shefaji Gupta in absentia, graduation requirements completed on August 21st, Nipun Bansal, Siddharth Dawar, I continue. Okay. Next, I present to you 4 candidates in person and 2 others in absentia who have duly qualified in the year 2013-14 to receive the degree of Master of Technology in Computer Science and Engineering. I also present to you 13 candidates in person and 2 others in absentia who are likely to graduate till December 21st, 2014 for the degree of Master of Technology in Computer Science and Engineering. Shilpa Garg, in absentia, Rohit Romli, Praful Agrawal in absentia, Parikshit Mani, Sakshi Tiwari, Deepika, now graduation requirements expected to be completed on December 21st, 2014. Abhishek Kumar, Aritro Dhor, Mohammad Nofal, Rohit Jain, Vishesh Narwal, Akanksha Gupta in absentia, Ambareen Bashir, Ania Agrawal, Kanchan Arora in absentia, Kongra Amani in absentia, Lavi Agrawal, Priya J.N. Singh in absentia, Anil Sharma, Priyanka Singh, Samit Anwar, congratulations and best wishes to the graduating batch. Thank you.
We next have Ms. Dr. Sujai Deb to present the students with an MTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering with specialization in VLSI and embedded systems.
I present to you 11 candidates in person who have duly qualified in the year 2013-14 to receive the degree of Master of Technology in Electronics and Communication Engineering with specialization in VLSI and embedded systems. Graduation requirements completed on May 21st, 2014. B. Sri Krishna Acharya. Supratim Das. Gade Narayana Sriharsha. Kumar Abhishek. Neeraj Kumar. Pranoy Samanto. Rohan Sinha. Siddhartha Shankar Raut. Swati Lekha Majumdar. Vijender Kumar Sharma. Vinod Kumar Singh. I present to you 3 candidates in person and 4 others in absentia who have duly qualified in the year 2013-14 to receive the degree of Master of Technology in Electronics and Communication Engineering. I also present to you 1 candidate in absentia who is likely to graduate till December 21st, 2014 for the degree of Master of Technology in Electronics and Communication Engineering. Graduation requirements completed on May 21st, 2014. Ankita Shukla. Rohit Jain in absentia, Azaz Mehdi Zaidi in absentia, Varsha Maheshwari in absentia. Graduation requirements completed on August 21st, 2014. Mir Mohsina Rahman. Namrata Divedi in absentia, Shubha Sharma. Graduation requirements expected to complete on December 21st, 2014, Rahul Kumar Shah in absentia. Congratulations everyone. Thanks.
So finally, Dr. Sumitra Sanatya will present the dual degree students.
So I present to you two candidates in absentia who have duly qualified in the year 2013-14 to receive the dual degree BTech and MTech. Apurva Mehra in absentia and Sudeep Mittal in absentia. Thank you.
So this ends the second part. All graduates can collect the photographs which have been taken here between 2:30 and 3 o'clock outside there at the counter, and that is for free. Okay, 2:30 to 3. And so now this part is over for you. We now request the BTech students and their parents who sit upstairs to come down and be prepared for the next session. Okay, I present to you 76 candidates in person and 5 other in absentia who have duly qualified in the year 2013-14 to receive the degree of Bachelor of Technology in Computer Science and Engineering. I also present to you 2 candidates in person and 2 others in absentia who are likely to graduate in December 2012-21 for the degree of Bachelor of Technology in Computer Science and Engineering. We start with Abhimanyu Khanna in absentia, Abhishek Gupta. Atvay Malhotra. Ishwarya Jain. Akanksha. Akineni Ajay Krishna. Akshay Gupta in absentia, Akshay Rajvanshi. Akshit Gupta. Amol Verma. Ankit Mittal. Ankur Goel. Anmol Kelkar. Apurv Narang. Arjun Ahuja, Asta Solanki, Ayushi Agarwal, Dipanka Agarwal, Devika Sondi, Himanshu Gagas, Himanshu Verma, Jatin Thapa, Jyotika Dora, Karan Kalra, Karan Kurana, Karan Gupta, Kashish Chawla, Chitesh Bakshi, Kunal Mehta, Lakshya Bharti, Lukesh Garg, Manik Malhotra, Mayank Gautam, Mayank Verma, Nikhil Nakrat. Nikhil in absentia. Then we have Nikhil Nakpal. Nikhil? Okay, Nikhil. So Nikhil Nakrat, is he here? No. Nikhil Nakpal? Okay. Nikita Juneja. Nishant Jain. Pranit Sharma. Priyanka Kumar. Priyanshu Gupta. Riya Goel in absentia. Ruchika Kohli. And Sahil Jain. Okay, Raghav Anand. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So now we have a small break to give space for the other students. Now again, all graduates, you may collect the photographs at 2:30 outside at the counter, and these are for free. Okay. So now you're requested to leave, so make space for the other set of students. I mean, outside, just go outside. Sampurna Biswas, who is absent. Shayan Lahiri. Shipra Behra. Shruti Kapoor. Shreyasi Agrawal. Shubham Singhal, Shubhansh Akrawal, Sumya Vatan Singh, Sukriti Jain, Sushant Mehta, Udit Verma, Uchwal Gupta, Utkarsh Bhardwaj, Rishand Raghav, Vinayak Chopra, Yash Lamba, Aditya Gulati, Digvijay Singh, Sumit Agarwal, Graduation requirements completed on August 21st. We have Abhishek Sharma, Aditi Lal, Anulima Chaudhary, Apu Saini. Arpit Anand. Ayushi Goal. Janvi Kalyani. Kirti Lamba. Paritosh Mittal. Prachi Agarwal. Pranjal Thapa. Purujit Negi. Tanmay Goal. Tanya Mishra. Aarti Chand. Graduation requirements expected to complete on December 21st. Anirudh Chakravarti. Mitchell Gupta and Saurav Yadav in absentia. And finally, Aditya Kumar. Okay. So this completes the BTech students. Congratulations to all of them.
So that's the loss of the degrees. Mr. Chairman, sir, I request you to declare the convocation closed.
So the program ends here. We are all invited for lunch, but the students are requested to wait.